the world last year, Jack Wilman and Taurus in an all-star field headed by these two killers.
Hello, everyone. I'm Chris Chapman at the State Fair Arena in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Coming up, a Rock'em Sock'em Classic Western Shootout featuring the fastest guns in mud racing.
The defending champion, Larry Jarrett, from right here in Perry, Oklahoma, the Locomotion Supercharged Chevrolet will be one of the toughest contenders, as will the sport's quickest and fastest Ford. To the 1991 Monster Truck Challenge Series. Welcome, everybody, to the Centrum in Worcester, Massachusetts. We are just a moment away from starting qualifying for a rather unusual U.S. Honda Association Camel Monster Truck Showdown. A very short course, only 120 feet in distance, in a battle that will require a driver's reaction times to be absolutely perfect. The very first machine coming out to qualify, New Jersey veteran Mike Wine in the Outlaw Ford, sponsored by Super Winch, will be up against the clock on this shortened course to determine qualifying position. As always, the Centrum event is one of the biggest and best on the U.S. Honda Association Trail, drawing the top competitors in the monster truck battle for the Camel World Championship in 1991, including, of course, the truck that finished number 2 in the world last year, Jack Wilman and Taurus. Meanwhile, Wilman, of course, will be looking to improve on last season's number 2 in the world finish. Wilman stages up, signals that he is ready. He'll take the first qualifying run. A beautiful airborne leap. The elapsed time for the Taurus Chevy, 2.22 seconds, and that will set the pace here in qualifying. Back on the starting line, Mike Wine gets ready with the supercharged Ford. The elapsed time, 0.6 of a second slower than the Taurus machine. 2.82 seconds for Mike Wine's Jersey Outlaw. That will bring out the Breen Brothers entry, the Whiskey Business Chevrolet from Missouri, with Ken Deppy behind the wheel. Deppy, a relative newcomer to the U.S. Honda Association Trail, but with a truck that has more than enough power, he will be up against probably the most powerful truck in the history of this sport. The truck that, regardless of its power, had a driver strong enough to win the 1990 U.S. Honda Association Camel World Championship, Fred Schaefer and Barefoot. Incredible flight. Fred Schaefer returns to earth. The elapsed time, 1.97 seconds. Number 1 qualifier by a quarter of a second as Ken Deppy lines up in the far lane. A bizarre landing, but actually an exceptional run, 2.79 seconds. Here comes the crowd favorite, the monster truck that has won this event the last 2 years in a row. It's Jim Kramer at the wheel of the incredible Bigfoot Ford. With Barefoot leading qualifying, look at the next machine pulling out as the crowd goes crazy. It's the first New England appearance ever on the U.S. Honda Association Trail for Dennis Anderson and the incredible Gravedigger. The rear-engine Chevy from Kill Devil Hills, North Carolina. The wild man of monster trucks behind the wheel. Unbelievable flight for Dennis Henderson. Straight up and down just before the finish line. The elapsed time, 2.25 seconds. It'll put him right now, number 3 in the field. Kramer on the line and ready. Another incredible flight. Kramer lands it with an elapsed time of 2.26 seconds, 100th of a second slower than the Gravedigger Chevrolet. Coming up, one of the winningest drivers of this 1991 season. We call him the working class hero, the unsponsored First Blood Ford of Rob Fuchs. Moves it up against John Breen and the Micro Machine Chevrolet. Rob Fuchs clears the tachometer in the First Blood Ford as Breen moves up to stage first. He's ready. I don't think the handling problems were caused by anything going on in the cockpit. It looked as if the machine did not have front-wheel drive when it left the starting line. There may be breakage in the front differential of that machine. We'll have to wait and see the elapsed time for the Micro Machine entry, 2.84 seconds, coming, of course, nearly to a stop at the finish line. Rob Fuchs now moves up with the First Blood Ford. Launch and an equally violent landing. Rob Fuchs stops the clocks at 2.24 seconds. He'll move into the number 3 spot ahead of Gravedigger and Bigfoot. The unsponsored independent is still as wild as ever. Stay with us.